So, do we know the gender yet?
Yes, it's a girl. Then my mother-in-law, Jenny, opened her eyes and screamed.
What? Get abortion right now.
Huh? For a moment, I thought I had misheard her. But Jenny's eyes were full of anger, and she looked at me with disgusted look on her face. My name is Erin, and I am a 25-year-old housewife. I met my husband at a matchmaking party, and after dating for a year, we got married. To tell you a quick old story, I have never been with a decent guy. I've been with guys like an unemployed gambler or a womanizer who has multiple girlfriends or a guy who gets abusive when he gets mad. My friends always tell me that I should break up with them as soon as possible. I was wondering why I had such a bad luck with guys when a friend invited me to a matchmaking party. Stuart isn't that handsome, but he works as a salesman in a small company, has common sense, looks clean, and has a decent income. He is 1 year older than me. His family consists of his parents and a younger brother. His father-in-law is also an office worker, and his younger brother is a college student. He was exactly the kind of man that I was looking for at the time, and I thought I could have a proper relationship with him. He also made a move on me, so we decided to go out. He would pay for all of our dates without asking me to pay, and since he had a car, we went on drive dates. I never had to drive for a long period of time. I never got pushed down suddenly inside of a rental car like I experienced before. I was happy to have the normal date which I had dreamed of. Then one day, Stuart had proposed to me at a fancy restaurant with a beautiful evening view. This was also the proposal which I had dreamed of. Unlike my ex who had planted a fake ring he got from a claw machine game and shoved it inside a cake which he bought at a store, it was a real ring in an engagement case. As for the fake ring which was shoved in the cake, it made a crunching sound when I put the cake in my mouth, and at first I thought there was a bug in it or something like that. It was quite a traumatizing experience for me. Stuart says, "I want you to be my family and support me," to me, and I was really happy that I could have a normal, happy life. We then got married and began our life as an official married couple. Every day I do the housework and wait for Stuart to come home from work. Stuart has been kind to me since we got married, and he takes care of me, saying things like, "Thank you for always cooking good food," or "I'll do the dishes." I had been unlucky with men in the past, but I was glad to have finally found a good guy, or so I felt. After that, no problems occurred, and my normal daily life just went by. My friends, whom I would occasionally meet, would say,
"Erin has really matured. She used to be a gal with blonde hair and flashy clothes,"
to me. Come to think of it, the clothes I wear and the color of my hair now have really calmed down. I no longer go to the clothing shop I used to go to and prefer simple, basic colors. I guess it's true what they say about the way women look and how it changes depending on who they end up with. Even with cigarettes, I used to be a heavy smoker, but now I don't want to go into a restaurant unless it's a non-smoking place. 2 years have passed since I married to Stuart, and we are still living as peacefully as ever. If I had to complain about one thing, it would be about my mother-in-law, Jenny. It wasn't so bad right after we got married, but after a year or so, she started pestering me, asking me if I got pregnant with kids or not. Every time I just brushed it off by saying, "Having kids are a blessing." But after 2 years of marriage, her questioning me about kids had escalated. My parents-in-law's house is a 10-minute drive from our apartment, and recently, Jenny often visits us and starts talking about kids. "I heard from the neighbors the other day. They said that there is a good fertility clinic." "Ah, well, we don't know if we're even infertile or not." "What are you talking about? You have to find out about these things quickly. Besides, you are the eldest son's wife. You have to be aware of that." If it continues like this, Jenny would start questioning about my personal life in details. After feeling this way, I consulted to Stuart about it. My husband agreed with me, saying, "Well, it's true that having a kid is a blessing." Thank goodness that Stuart agrees and that he was on my side. But that thought didn't last that long. Right after, Stuart says, "But Mom is worrying about us, so that is why she's questioning us, right? We should at least respond to Mom and not make her worry. Let's go to the clinic next Saturday." Stuart seemed to support Jenny more than me. At the time, however, I thought, well, it is unusual to see Stuart be so motivated in infertility treatment, and I should be grateful. And my distrust towards him did not grow to that level. Then we underwent infertility tests and were told that there was nothing wrong with us and that we did not need any treatment. I am very grateful that the doctor told us that. Both my husband and I felt a little better, and we had hoped that our chances would increase if we did fertility tests. And perhaps it was because we were able to stay mentally calm and not feel rushed that I finally became pregnant. My husband seems really happy that we are going to have a baby, and he spends all day at home looking at baby products online. We should pick up some names and list them too. Yeah. Wow, I am looking forward to the baby. If the baby grows up, I would like to play catch at the park. Maybe when I go back to my parents' house the next time, I'll try to search for my gloves which I used with my brother. Hey now, the baby's not born yet, so playing catch is still too fast. Seeing Stuart's happy face, I naturally felt a smile on my face. I was really happy that I was able to get pregnant. A little while later, I went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor told me that the baby was a girl. I told this to Stuart when he came home from work. He was shocked and said, "Oh, she's a girl?" What happened? Oh, no, it's nothing. That day, my husband was not paying attention to anything I said to him, and it looked like he was occupied with his own thoughts. Did he want a son? Well, come to think of it, he did say he wanted to play catch. Still, I don't think it was right for Stuart to be so depressed. The baby was his own child, so shouldn't he be happy regardless of the gender? The next morning, Stuart didn't look so much depressed as he was the other day, and he and I had a normal conversation. However, all this time before he found out about the gender, he had been worrying about me being pregnant and talking about the birth of our child every day. But this morning, he didn't mention a single word about them. Jenny came to visit me as I was going about my day, thinking that I would hate it if Stuart continued to be uninterested in our own daughter. Long time no see, Jenny.
I heard that you got pregnant. Congratulations.
Thank you. Jenny had just recently been hospitalized due to a broken leg for a little while. So she had heard that I got pregnant, but this was the first time we had met in person to talk about it.
Oh, well done, Erin.
Jenny was extremely pleased, and I was very relieved that she wouldn't be asking whether I got pregnant or not.
So, do we know the gender yet?
Yes, it's a girl. Then my mother-in-law, Jenny, opened her eyes and screamed.
What? Get abortion right now.
Huh? For a moment, I thought I had misheard her. But Jenny's eyes were full of anger, and she looked at me with a disgusted look on her face. It was at this point that I realized that Jenny really wanted me to get abortion. What are you saying?
In my family, the rule is that the eldest son's wife can only give birth to a boy. We don't want a girl. Get an abortion right now.
No way! This is my child. You have no right whatsoever to decide such things, Jenny.
Just get an abortion. We're going to the clinic right now.
Stop it! Jenny was about to get pretty physical with me, so I hurriedly escorted her out of the front door and locked it. She slams the door with a bang, saying,
"I'll be back,"
and left. That night, I immediately discussed this with Stuart, and Stuart replied in which I was in shock to hear.
Oh, so Mom did get angry, huh? I'm sorry, Erin, but you have to get abortion like what Mom says.
What?
It's our rule that the eldest son's wife can only give birth to a boy.
I was absolutely mortified. Both Stuart and Jenny are crazy. It was disgusting that he could say such unethical things so calmly to me. I thought that if we began to fight, my baby might be harmed, so I said, "I'll go to the clinic tomorrow," to make it look like I would go. The next morning, after seeing Stuart off for work, I hurriedly packed my bags and went back to my parents' house. My parents were surprised by my sudden arrival, but were outraged by my story. At the time, my childhood friend Jason was also there. Apparently, the old air conditioner in the house was acting up, so he had come to fix it for them. It had been a long time since we had seen each other, but I was so focused on my crappy situation that without even a proper greeting, we decided to discuss the divorce with Jason being there to hear the whole thing. For the time being, my parents and I agreed that I wouldn't return to that house, but would prepare the divorce papers and have Stuart come here to sign them. That evening, as expected, I received a non-stop phone call from Stuart, so I told him quickly what I wanted him to do and hung up immediately. Later that day, Stuart came to my parents' house with Jenny. The discussion between us began in the living room. I said, "I can't stay married any longer to a person who asks me to abort the baby as soon as he finds out that she's a girl," and handed the divorce papers to Stuart. Then Stuart replies,
"Those are the rules of our family, and it is the duty of a wife to abide by our rules, since she is married into the family."
I couldn't understand his point. Jenny, taking advantage of the situation, said threateningly,
"If you insist on not doing abortion, I'll make you have miscarriage."
My parents were furious. An argument between my parents and Jenny began. And at that moment, Jason came out from the next room. "Huh? Jason? Why? Did they ask you to fix something again?"
"No, I was asked to wait there by your parents." "Who is this guy?"
"He's my childhood friend."
"Childhood friend? Go away. You're not family but an outsider."
"I'm sorry, but I'm not an outsider,"
Jason says while handing over his business card to Stuart.
Lawyer?
Huh?
I am to be present at this discussion as a lawyer. And as an FYI, I have asked Aaron's father to record all the conversations which was held earlier on a voice recorder. What you just said is a fine threat, ma'am.
Huh?
If Aaron continues to be in this marriage, you can definitely harm Aaron.
No, that was, I got emotional and ended up.
And that's completely dangerous. You never know what might happen. If Stuart still refuses to divorce, then let's fight it out over court. Well, I think it's definitely clear which side will have the advantage then.
Stuart and Jenny turned completely pale.
If you sign the divorce papers now, the amount you will have to pay will be kept to a minimum, you know. I'm only trying to proceed peacefully here.
Stuart immediately took a pen and signed the divorce papers. Then he and Jenny left as if it looked like they were running away from something. We were finally able to get rid of these people without any incident. The frightened expressions on Stuart and Jenny's faces are so funny if I remember it now. I had no idea you were a lawyer, Jason.
I was studying really hard, you know, especially when you were having a rough time.
Oh, I have no memories from that period. My brain completely shuts down when it tries to remember it. After that, thanks to Jason's help, I was successfully divorced and received the child support and a little bit of alimony. This incident became known within Stuart's workplace, and people around him are giving him the cold shoulder, thinking that he's a bad person who wants his own wife to get abortion. The same thing happened to Jenny, and she lost all her trust from her neighbors. I heard that both of them spend their days feeling ashamed of themselves, but, well, they got what they deserved. A few months later, I gave birth to my daughter. My parents were very happy about the birth of their grandchild. Then, the day before I was about to leave the hospital, Jason came to see me. "Oh, you came all the way out here. But I thought you were at work."
I got out of the office saying I had an important meeting. Aaron, please marry me.
What?
I've been regretting it for a long time. I should have had the courage to confess my feelings to you way earlier. I have always loved you, Aaron, since we were kids.
What?
I don't want another man to take you away from me anymore. Marry me. Let's raise the child together.
Jason. This was when I first realized that Jason was the only one who always stood by me and watched over me and accepted me for who I am. I thought this to myself, that if it is with Jason, I am sure that I will be fine, and this time we can build a happy family. With this in mind, I decided to marry Jason. Now, I'm living happily with Jason and our daughter. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video.